Should I
Hello?
bother putting OBS things on my mic? Filters? I feel like I got somewhere once and I've regressed.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Should I bother putting filters on my mic?
No.
All right, you said it. Fine. Audience can blame you. My dulcet tones.
You sound a lot... I'll send you a file of what you sound like to me when recording, and then I'll send you... then you can listen to the podcast.
That's fine. I just listened to episode 1 a few days ago and I was like, whoa, that was a tin pot man. As long as I'm not like that, then that's fine.
No, you're definitely better than that.
All right. Have we made it to 13?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Can
think it's
hear
your...
like a
Have
riot.
you got background noise?
Get a bit of a riot going on back there.
Oh, have you got background noise? She's not even... She's watching it with subtitles. She's literally subtitled, like, we've got... What's the show called? Magnificent Century, and it's a show that's... Is it... What country is it from? Turkey. It's like Game of Thrones, but imagine it on the budget of, like, a small Turkish restaurant trying to make a film. It's based on true history. She loves it anyway. Just if you're on 15, let's you're on 6. Oh wow, well let's go for a 3, yeah?
No, that's 6 is fine. I can't hear it.
6 is fine, you can't hear it. Believe in yourself, babe.
I can a little bit, but the noise filter will take it out easily. It's fine.
It will. Oh, okay, great. 13, I think it's you this time.
No, I'm odd numbers.
Yeah, but we did a part 1 and part 2, didn't we?
Doesn't matter. I did both.
Well, if you're odd numbers, isn't 13 an odd number?
No, I'm even numbers.
You just said you're odd numbers.
Well, go listen to the previous podcast.
You did just say that, so don't have an attitude in your voice, because that's what you said. Have you got a drink?
Yeah, I got a whiskey.
So you keep getting all these... I keep getting these little mixer cans, original spice... You know, it's got like 1% rum in it or some crap. I'm paying twice the price. When I move out, that'll be it. I'll get a liquor cupboard. That'll be great. All right. I've got some heat to bring, so cue the music. Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Just Swim podcast. My name is Tim.
My name's Woody.
And I've missed the bit where I say the podcast entirely devoted to the furthering of the human species through talk and discussion. My name's Tim.
My name's Woody.
And my name's Tim.
And my name's Woody.
And you are the audience. And thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us today. We've got some tremendous topics to cover. I've been littering my notes throughout the week, trying to bring some cool stuff. How are you, Woody?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah?
All good.
Any life-changing events?
Not really. Just still debating about whether I should take this job or not.
Whether you should be a normal person and do some work.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one. I mean, imagine having a really good job offer. Imagine being in Woody's position. You've got a really good job offer, and you're actually like in a situation where it's not even tantalizing to accept. I feel like Facebook could be like CTO, and you'd be like,
that sounds like a lot of work.
do I have to speak to Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
Oh, God. He's on the cunt list, honest. Oh, wow. My notes say it's not part of this topic, but I need to actually write up the cunt list so that it becomes a thing. So Don't worry, chaps. 3 minutes in, the C word's gone 3 times. We're absolutely popping off the chain today.
Yep.
So I guess I mean, we could dive down the rabbit hole of do you want to work, but I feel like you probably want to work that out in your own mind.
I'm happy to discuss it. I'm happy to. I haven't really discussed it with you much, really. So
we had a bit of a chat, but
we
don't. One of the benefits of the podcast is we don't actually talk apart from in written text format throughout the week until Tuesdays, which is quite nice. Unless we're doing something to do with one of our projects we're working on.
And that's still text format. We're only rarely do
Yeah.
bits and pieces on the voice chat.
And then if we do, we talk about the project we're working on, not live events. So
Exactly.
it's a good way to compress. Yeah, I've had relationships before. I remember I was best mates with a kid in year 7. So when I was around 14, 13 or something. Really good mates. Went everywhere together, did everything. One day his parents were like, "We're moving to Australia." And this was like, I was like, well, pull the rug under my feet. Like, what am I supposed to do now? Find another best friend?
Yeah.
I want my money back. But one thing that was weird was that he came back about like a year, 2 years later. I was like, oh, he's coming back. Great. Can't wait. And he hopped into the playground, like just to say hello to everyone. And I felt like, just like I was like, you all right, mate? Like, I've got fucking nothing to talk to you about because our lives are completely different now.
Yeah.
This happened to me. Like, oh, great. What did you?
Great.
Yeah. I did Australian stuff. Do they like football? Not so much. They have Australian football. Oh, great. That's the end of our conversation. I'll see you in a year's time. Let's just not chat next time.
Yeah.
He's a great guy though. Hope he's doing good. So you've got your whiskey.
Yeah, I spilt a little bit on the way down. I think I lost about half of it.
Jeez, is it the second or is it the first?
Just the first. I didn't drink earlier. No, it's my first.
So, diving back into the work situation, you've got a job offer.
Got a really nice job offer. I haven't been
working with someone who's a mate.
Yeah,
who you've worked with before.
Yeah, working with a colleague that's is good guy, good mate. We work well together. We have banter whilst we're working. It's basically if I was offered this job this time 2 years ago, I would be signing that contract right away. I mean, it's a totally different position now. I'm almost still burnt out from Dubai, maybe. And also sort of living the luxury of not having to burden my mind of anything. I guess I do. I am doing like small projects here and there for some cash, like some cash flow. But there's no burden on those projects. And that's what I feel like will happen. I mean, I hope it doesn't. I probably will end up signing the contract probably tomorrow.
I know. I think you're procrastinating into the inevitability of signing on. And when you said like thinking about saying, "Oh, I'll do 3 months," I think you walk into dangerous territory there of just tainting their first taste of what you've got to offer.
But at the same time, I'm at the point where I'm like, do I even like care about what people think of me anymore?
Then just work for 3 weeks and sack it off.
Well, that's
Do you know what I mean?
That's kind of my position at the moment.
Or there is the other thing of like, I know we spoke about the old salary. Yeah, I wanted to not say it in the word of a salary. I know we spoke about that, but you could just ask for like a ridiculous amount, at which point you think to yourself, well, okay, they've taken that away from me. They've taken that problem. Not that it's not great what's there. I'm just saying that, you've been given that and you're still thinking, So in reality, to acquire your services on a foot that works well for you, you are in a situation where it's different, isn't it? And that's exactly what used to happen when I did recruitment. There are people who were just like, I fancy doing 2 days a week, and if you find something that pays me this, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll sit there and day trade and make more money. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's all relative.
I guess. But at the same time, like, do I really have the audacity to not go into work, like, and be that not arrogant, but about it, when I'm still really only a junior in these people's eyes. To other people in my circle, I'm not a junior. But
it's so interesting that, like, I think you could run a like a technology operation on your own. But you have to grind through the levels, don't you?
Exactly.
But I feel like you've been grinding for a while, and I feel like I feel like you've been doing the dirty work for a while.
No, I
Like,
haven't been doing it long enough. Oh, I know that's for sure. I haven't been doing the dirty work long enough. There's a good 3 or 4 years more of grinding through the shit until I get to a point.
until you get to CTO, yeah. But I'd say there's an in between that, and I think that's a lot closer than you think. Or at least you have the capability. You might not have you might not have run the race, but you are a person who is equipped to run that race in a pretty much world record time. And people should notice that, give you the opportunity, and if they don't, then at least seed the breadcrumbs as to how you can do that.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. This is it, right? So I'm not even sure I want to be part of the race anymore.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but maybe if you were to get to that, if you were to start looking for the jobs that are at that finish line, you might be like, well, yeah, I get to tell these chaps who are like what I used to do how to do things, and I've always known how to do things, and it's going to be less politically stressful for me to partake in than getting told what to do and disagreeing with it.
The only way I'll avoid politics is by becoming a freelancer, contractor. It's the only way to avoid bullshit in work.
But there's a beauty in the politics in a way.
Nah, there's not.
There is.
Nah.
Think about when we worked at eMove, yeah? There's still 10-15% of you that really wants to care about, we should be doing this. I know I have that a lot more than you, but
nah, I don't have that in me anymore. It's all gone.
That's another thing I was going to ask you about is so in terms of, I don't know enough about the job offer, but I feel like the job role itself is on your ticks boxes and all these things. I feel like the vertical and perhaps the products, I feel like myself, especially since my last move, I'll always be someone who's thinking I like Formula One, so I want to do something that's to do with Formula One. Whereas I feel like a lot of your things have been kind of well, I can do this, so I'll find jobs that are in this area. And I feel like people around you have less of an interest in working in those unique fields where you actually become passionate about the work and you want to do it. Like our project you're doing now, you kind of you're sitting there wanting to do it. Whereas when I saw you back in Dubai, I was looking at someone who this product could be something you want to do, but you're not at the level to drive it to be that just because of your position. Yeah. And I'm wondering if your procrastination is that you're looking at a paper once again, which is that same proposition.
That could be it. That could be the reason why I'm feeling the way I am. But at the same time, maybe there's part of me that thinks I do need to work the ranks a bit more in order to find be more in quotes qualified to go for the things that I would actually enjoy doing and be good at.
I think the other thing is we even spoke about this before Dubai, your CV would would benefit from.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, this is the crux of it though, is that your CV really needs a 2-year stint. And you're probably looking at that paper thinking, yeah, if I turn this into a 4-monther, I'm just not even going to be able to include it on my CV.
Exactly.
I'm
going in for the long haul.
You've got to pull a snake out. I don't know.
So a job that I would love, that I think I would love and be super passionate about would be a product owner for Logic Pro or Ableton Live or Pro Tools or Sibelius.
Have you looked on their website? No.
The thing is I'm also.
The thing is,
I haven't looked.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
I'm also not willing to apply for those jobs because I don't apply for jobs. They just come to me.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
Oh, I know.
The stuff that comes to you is stuff that people don't know what you want. They're little recruiters like I used to be like, oh, you like building jigsaws? Well, here's an ice cream van. Do you want to drive it around? It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So you have to. Even when I was in this space and I was questioning if I was in the right space, but maybe the wrong company, there wasn't a shit that I took or a train journey I went on where I wasn't scrolling through the crypto job boards looking for a job. It just fascinates me seeing what's out there in the space as well, and it gives you a solidity of like, okay, there are things out there, and you can't. It's like the other day, that's a long story to explain it, but you need to be informed before you make these decisions, and if you just assume that there's, but then it is what it is. You're in the position that you're in, so I can imagine that, procrastination and not diligently see. Like when I lost my job, family had like 500 quid in the bank and 1,500 expenses for the next month to pay. It was let's get on the jobs board. Like,
Yeah, I'm not in that
everyone
position.
behind me, helping me make the CVs, doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're in your little shed drinking whiskey
Yeah.
with the heater on,
That's exactly
with some
it.
money in the bank.
Yeah.
So I get it. Do you think people should look for jobs that are in areas of interest to them?
100%.
I reckon so as well.
100%.
Even the other day, I mentioned Formula One earlier. I've got right into Formula One at the moment, and I was like, blockchain, car mechanic. I'll fucking put the wheels on.
Yeah.
You imagine me in the pit stop, I'd fuck it up straight away. Right. Every time Lewis Hamilton looking up at me, you dickhead.
Fucking idiot.
All right, well, I guess let's leave it there with the job.
Yeah.
And we've seeded that in people's mind. Woody is partaking in this experiment of finding work, and we'll see where he ends up.
No, I'm not.
Well, yeah, he's not participating, so we will see where he ends up.
Yeah.
You're like the little thing at the bottom of the drain, like spinning round, trying not to go down.
Yeah.
So I have some questions. I've been noting things that have been of mind this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to dive straight into a deep one. I'll ask you a very quick one, and then I'll get some deep ones going. So if you had a deal or no deal opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a box and another box, okay, just like the TV show.
Yeah.
With your crypto portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
and the banker offers you the full amount now, or a chance of a box where you can hold and do whatever you want with it over the next 10 years, or take nothing, what do you choose? So there's one box where you get to hold and keep your cryptocurrency, and there's one box where you have to take, you can take nothing. It just has a 0 in it, and he takes your cryptocurrency.
What?
Or you can sell it all now. So there's 3 boxes, I guess. What would
So
you do?
somebody's like, I'm in an interrogation chair, and
Yeah.
it said, here's your options.
Yeah.
We can take away your money. We can let you keep it. Or you can sell it now. We'll buy it off you now.
Hang on a minute. That's obvious. Wouldn't you just keep it?
Yeah.
Wait. Let me just see how I've written this down, because that wasn't what I was asking. The banker offers you the full amount now, or yeah, there we go. So you have the chance of the full amount cashed in now,
Right.
or the chance of 2 boxes. One you can hold, and the other one you have a chance of lose. So it's a 50-50. You lose everything, or you hold your crypto,
Oh, okay.
or you have to cash in.
Cash in.
Yeah, just buy it back the next day.
Yeah.
What a question, Tim. What a question.
That made no sense.
I did think about...
Where was your mind thinking when you wrote that question down?
I don't even know, really. I genuinely don't know.
Oh.
I've been thinking a lot about the whole the markets at the moment. I've been speaking to my uncle about it as well. He was so my uncle is pretty successful and has a lot of money in shares and stocks, and I've been trying to explain to him, like, just he's interested. Every day he posts me articles. He's like, they keep saying Bitcoin is going to do this and do this and do this, and I'm like, well, yeah, it might, but it's all speculation. Every time the newspapers say something good about Bitcoin, it makes me feel even more hesitant. But he's interested by it, and I kept talking to him. And I was like, look, it just sounds like I'm trying to convert you. So I think you need to just inform yourself and read the white paper. So read Satoshi's white paper, watch a few videos, and see where you get to. Like, I was trying to explain the concept of a stable coin to him, because I was like, you realize your profits every year into fiat currency, which is therefore taxable. Whereas there's such a thing as a pit stop token, which doesn't really make sense. And he was like, that doesn't make sense how that's not taxable. And I was like, yeah, don't trust me that it's not. But I don't know. That was kind of like, I've just been talking to him about it. So
Nice.
I thought about that a bit. And then I also thought about the reason why frogs don't do the edge of the spawn thing.
Oh, yeah.
We should probably give context, but that would assume that some of our listeners don't listen to every minute of our podcasts. So we'll assume they've listened to the last podcast.
And they have the necessary context.
Exactly. And we're just talking about frogs spawning eggs on the side of their frothy little egg area. And so the reason I was thinking about this is, so the reason they don't learn a trait to do something like that is that there's no need for intellectual development. And what I mean by that is that evolutionary, they aren't being driven to evolve from a thought or behavior perspective because there isn't a threat to them. They're doing fine. Whereas I've been looking at octopuses, and octopuses are they're like fresh meat for fish down there. And
no bones in, don't have to chew anything, just chuck it in your mouth.
And there's loads of it. Can you imagine? Like, it's like this big, like, mushroomy head, but it's lovely.
Yeah.
And they've learned all these amazing things. And I was watching The Octopus's Teacher, I think it's called, on Netflix. If anyone hasn't watched it, go and watch it, because it will really blow your mind. But it's basically about a guy who gains the trust of an octopus for a year. And he was talking about how we study these animals in sort of scientific labs, but we don't ever study animals by gaining their trust in their environment. And every day he swam to the bottom of the ocean outside his house, found where this octopus was hiding, and the octopus day by day would start to form a relationship with him. And the things that he learned that this octopus did and studied that the octopus did is just unbelievable. Even to a point where there's like a shark trying to attack it, and the octopus suddenly thought that it could just jump on the shark's back, and it just rode on the shark's back until the shark was like, well...
Can't find it.
He knew where it was. Can't do fuck all about it.
Yeah.
Just swam around, pissed off. And then eventually the octopus just clings onto a bit of algae and the shark swims off, and he's like, yeah, live to fight another day.
Yeah.
But they only live a year.
Really?
And then, they live a year. Well, this species, but I think quite a lot of them have short lives. And they release, I think it's close to 500,000 offspring.
Jesus.
So they're doing that sort of a equation. But the things that they learn in that year is all to get to the point where they can do that reproducing cycle. And they are driven to learn these things like camouflage and like jumping on this freaking shark's back. And you don't learn that from your mum, like a monkey learns how to crack a nut open from its mum.
It's dead.
Yeah, it learns it through this constant evolution passing down through this quick cycle of reproduction.
Yeah.
Maybe that's even it, the fact that they reproduce in such a short time frame. It's easier to pass on the learned traits just because there's so much reproduction in a short time frame happening. That's interesting, actually. I never thought of it like that.
Which is, I guess, what my thing was when I was thinking about the frogs, which is, I've always, this is going to be weird, but this is just how my mind works. I imagine genes as or DNA rather, how do I explain it? It's almost like a database, but it's not quite a database. It's like a linked list of things, and right at the bottom of the DNA, the deepest DNA is okay, here's how to make, here's the sequence for creating a limb or something. And then right at the top, like all the way at the top of the genes is like the smallest variants that change very rapidly through evolution. And those variants slowly work their way down as they get embedded until eventually you've got an entirely new animal. And I guess that's what my point was. I think frogs probably live longer than a year, but they do reproduce every year. But they do have, I guess they do get some protection from their parents. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Maybe it's the difference that they reproduce every year but don't die every year.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, I was thinking about the frogs whilst driving.
So this, I sent you a message the other day saying bootstrapping learning. And there's something else that I wanted to talk about, but we'll go if you want to go through this first. So you was like, when I sent that message to you, was like, huh? Like what? Like I kind of get it, but I don't know.
And then you won't have replied. I'm guessing.
The reason why I didn't reply is because I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, but that's what. So I don't even send it. Well, next time, just do what I do. I have a separate alien. So I have two Discord accounts. No, because
I wanted you to think about it. I wanted to seed the idea.
The words without explanation.
Yeah, so
bootstrapping learning.
Bootstrapping learning. Okay. So, which I think. So let me just like give an idea of what bootstrapping, the term bootstrapping is. So evolution, I suppose you could say, is a bootstrapping process where you start off with something really simple and things are added on top of things and eventually you get humans. Another bootstrapping idea is when your computer starts up. So when you first boot your computer up, there's not much control going on. So there's this whole sort of sequence of operations that happen in order to boot the OS, and it has to sort of bootstrap itself upwards to get to the operating system. And it got me thinking about how would you teach an alien, if there is an alien, there is number one, there is no common, there might be one sort of semi-common language that we can use to talk to them. It's not binary, because binary is interpreted we give value to the ones and zeros, i.e. 010101 is the letter A. It's not, but just for an example, that's the letter A for us. But to them, it's something completely different. So it got me thinking, like, maybe that the only kind of common language, which may not be common, is physics.
I was wondering, I mean, I guess physics, but I think even to explain physics, you might...
exactly.
You want, I think, numbers and shapes. I think a lot of things, so we send out, like...
But that assumes that they have eyes.
Well, yeah. We send out things into the universe, not the universe, we send them a little, like, a few inches
outside
into space.
Our front door.
Yeah. Yeah, we leave a little gift box outside the front door, and we fill it with like shapes and trying to explain numbers and things.
That's not a common language. And maybe what is a common language? So when I say physics, what I mean is like there's one part of physics that I think is constant. The interpretation of it isn't constant, but the electromagnetic spectrum, so visible light, I think that's a common language. And maybe positions of stars relative to you is a common language. If they did manage to come, maybe they could recognize some patterns in the sky that you could kind of relate to.
I was wondering if patterns were a way to do it, images, but they have to be able to see. Like, we need aliens with eyes, and that's why we've always drawn aliens with 8 eyes, just on the fucking hope that they can have a chance at understanding.
Yeah.
If you take the eyes away, we're beyond fucked.
So this is why I come up with the thing of bootstrapping learning. What would if you had to teach an alien? No, not even if you had to teach. If you had to engage with an alien, I mean, hopefully they've got ways of engaging with you that you don't even have to you don't even have to spend any effort in. Like, they can just interpret your mind and everything's fine. Probably not fine, but you know what I mean. If you had to teach an alien something, like a simple concept, how could you bootstrap the knowledge from something that's common between you up to this, what we think is a simple idea, but in fact is a very complex idea?
Mate, if we solve that one on this podcast, like, we're getting hired by NASA straight away. Like, I'm even whilst you're doing this, I'm on a Reddit thread that says, what would it take to teach an alien civilization English without actually meeting anyone from Earth? And like, even the comments are like just dumbfounded. Like, they all say, well, you could do this, we could do this, but of course this all assumes blah de blah de blah de blah.
Too many assumptions.
Yeah, I mean,
so what do you think is like the common language? Like, what do you think you could use as a basic common language of the universe?
I think it's got to be light. I'm thinking chemistry and light is more like, chemistry is more obvious than physics. So starting at maybe like hydrogen, and things like that.
But how do you even describe hydrogen?
I just fucking point at it, mate. And if they don't understand pointing, just say fuck off. Nothing good is gonna come of this.
So I think you'd have to use light. You'd have to use
shine the light back home.
Yeah.
Go away. we wanted to know there is aliens. We now know. We don't want this. Just go. And they're sitting there like, no, we want to know something.
Teach us.
Except they're not saying that. They're just staring at you.
Yeah.
But they're not staring at you because they don't have eyes. They're just blobs. Oh.
Anyway.
Jesus, mate. I mean, like, if we've got a cunt list, we'll write that down on cunty questions we can't answer list.
Yeah.
Because as we've said, we've aimed to progress the human species, but I think taking on alien species within the first 13 episodes is just a bit much.
Yeah.
Maybe after episode 20. So I'll drag one out the barrel, which was...
I guess we could ask our viewers to post a comment. I'm sure one of them would comment.
We've got some intellectuals from the comments I've seen. So if you're out there and you want to,
what is the common language of the universe?
Yeah, and we'll recommend you to NASA straight away.
Yeah,
like, we can change your life if that's what you want. A job at NASA or SpaceX. Go for SpaceX. NASA's shit. They're still using rockets that, like, Elon laughs at NASA, doesn't he? He's like, are you still doing that?
Still using rockets that you can't even reuse? What? Yeah.
I remember he was in an interview I was watching a few days ago, one of his depressed interviews, and he was just like, if the rocket doesn't land and come back and land and come back, then it's all just pointless. And he's like, we've been doing this for years, and it's pointless.
He's right.
He is. He's right about everything. Just put him in charge.
Saying that, he has had a lot of failed launch attempts at his Starship.
Well, you got to fail to succeed, haven't you?
You do. But
got to push through it. That's what he knows about. He's firing off more rockets. He's failing on more rockets than, like,
true.
they're even launching.
True.
Like, at least he's pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
And their design is just, you can tell like it's something.
Have you seen the inside of the? Have you seen the inside console of the?
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah, fucking
Like
sick.
even the guys who did the filming for Star Trek and everything like that, like nothing.
Yeah.
And that's just a set. This is an actual rocket that has to work.
Yeah. With
Maybe
touchscreen.
maybe you could make money like that, like for sci-fi films. Just be like, look, we'll fucking design it because it will look better than your ideas. But he's just the nuts, really, isn't he? But one thing he always talks about is the design. He says things like, if the design is more complex than you can explain in these metrics, then it's probably wrong. And you have to kind of start from the point that your design is wrong and always believe it is wrong. And then maybe you might get lucky and have a design that's still wrong, but not as wrong as it should be.
Yeah.
And it's just phenomenal human being. Do you believe in a god or a higher power in the universe?
No. Do you?
Well, we used to learn about this thing in ethics, which was the prime mover, and the idea, the simplest way to explain it is that the train has an engine, and without the engine, the train doesn't move, and everything around us is moving. And people are always like, well, it must have a start. But then the response to that, someone said, well, who made the engine? And who made the engine for the guy that made the engine? So you can't really say it like that. It's a bit of a tricky one. But I have a feeling like an event like, this Big Bang thing that people like to think about. It feels like there was a start, but maybe that start is just a repetitive cycle that isn't the start, just feels like the start. I don't know. I think there's a lot of beauty in the design, but then I do also see, like, when we see the patterns in, like, you look into a flower and you see the same pattern that you see in something else in the world.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you look at crop formations from above or trees and they form these patterns, and it's like, it's all a bit similar to how I've seen ideas be developed through technology.
What do you mean?
Well, almost like, so like if you had to create the world, yeah,
You would make it like this one.
well, no, you would make laws, and the laws would be really complex to have to achieve. So rather than creating all of the laws, you would create a few principles that would evolve into those laws.
Right.
And I feel like the patterns that we see, whether it be looking up at the sky, down to looking at the color blue, there's a resonance between almost everything you see, and I feel like that's achieved just from probably a simple algorithm. Not simple, but simple in the sense that it evolves into something much more complex.
Right.
Like the number infinity, for example. It's just a word, but it's so much more than that. And I feel like there must be some sort of some conceiver of that, or maybe it conceived itself.
Well, we conceived it.
Yeah, or no, we perceived it into conception. That could be it. So just the fact that we're here to witness it makes it exist.
Yeah.
That gets into if you put a phone in a cupboard and it starts to, like, the light turns on and you're not there. But yeah, I was just gonna say, I didn't want to say if a tree falls in the woods. Do you know what I mean? It's just boring, isn't it? I tried to think of one, but yeah.
That's
if
good.
you fart in a cupboard and no one's near, does it really smell?
So what I was gonna say while she was saying that is basically what you're saying is there's so much that you can't explain, or that somebody can't explain, that you're putting it down to it must be something that can think higher than me.
Well, here's the problem, is that I explained the patterns in the universe and I said that they probably come from a simple algorithm. I didn't actually explain that it's very difficult to decide whether that's a created algorithm that must be created by a higher god, which is another, like, that's a leap, a substantial leap. It could be like just like a simulation sort of side of things. I don't know enough about simulation theory to understand if there has to be someone creating that simulation or if it can just exist on its own. But
So
I don't think what I said necessarily means that there's a higher power creating that algorithm.
yeah, so I guess the issue that people have with not believing in a god is the inability for humans to think that there could be nothing at zero and no time.
Yeah.
Because again, time is also a construct that we have imposed on the universe.
It's true. It's true. And another thing is that
The
so
universe doesn't live by time.
earlier I said that
We give it an age.
everyone always says that you can't have like who created the engine or who created God. There was someone who answered that by saying, well, God created time and is outside of time. Therefore, the idea of creation and there being a start and an end isn't relevant to him. So you can actually fight that argument by saying that God is outside of time, or the higher power is outside of time, and therefore they can create this experience.
Right, but why even bother?
Well, like, dude,
what if there's a way of just not having a creator? I believe that route.
But this is it. Like, okay, why bother? Well, we're here.
Yeah.
So something bothered, or an eventuality bothered.
No.
What?
Nothing bothered. Nothing spent effort to create this.
Click of the fingers, except there were no fingers and no click.
That's right. There's
Like,
This
boom, but no boom.
That's it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's difficult for humans to think about that there was nothing.
We were silently farted into existence.
Basically, yeah. But
it's even like when you think about death, like people say, like the idea, and then there's just nothing. It's like, oh, right, so it all goes black. No, not fucking black, mate. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's black, silent, black. No, nothing.
Yeah.
What? So it's white? No, fucking nothing.
Yeah.
You can't comprehend it.
Yeah, you can't.
Because our life's so full of everythings.
And I guess that's kind of circular in a way, isn't it? That maybe that's the reason why it was easy for us to conceive a god. Because we are almost scared of the idea of death and nothing, literal nothingness when you die.
Yeah.
That it sort of sends you back to the start. Well, how do we even get here in the first place?
Oh, it's got to be a level 2 to this shit. Oh my god, I can't fucking wait. Like,
I guess what it was like, right? I guess the best way for me to think about death is if I think about what it wasn't like to be alive before I was born.
yeah.
Nothing.
Well, I don't know about that though, because the little baby in Claudia's tummy.
No.
Still
Way before
alive.
that. Just before conception.
But it's a sperm cell.
Before that sperm cell.
It's a hormone that was going to be made into a sperm cell.
Exactly. That's nothingness to me.
But it's something. And that's true. That's what you are afterwards. You are the equivalent of that, which is rotting matter. Or burnt matter, aren't you? We don't even bury people anymore because we're in enough fucking room.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, I want to be cremated. Sounds fucking great. Oh yeah, sprinkle me on the fucking on the ocean. I want to go out to sea, little bits of dust, and I'll I remember someone saying they wanted to be sprinkled in a lavender garden. I was like, fuck me, how precious are you? Just die.
Now, it is amazing that we are here. It is incredible that the universe even exists.
It is. Look down at your hand.
Yeah, like that's
Like everyone now, if you're listening, just look at your hand. Like even that is the dog's bollocks. Like it could have just been a circle with no fingers. They could have just given you blobs on the end of your hand that were like jelly,
yeah.
but they didn't. I think I think we've put a decent shift in there on that.
There's a lot to think about.
I wasn't hoping to solve is there a God straight away. Once again, we will have to keep pushing on that one, I think.
Well, I'm a firm believer that there isn't. The other theory is that the universe is in constant cyclical motion of just, and it's always has been. Therefore, there is no beginning of time. It just.
But who started the perpetual motion of the cycle?
It's just there. Why does it have to be created?
Well, so my alarm clock, it is in a cyclical motion of going from 12 o'clock to 12 o'clock every day. Yeah.
Right.
But like that cycle once started because I plugged it in and pushed a button. It wouldn't be cycling through that on its own.
But okay. But the same theory that you had about God is outside of time, the universe is outside of time.
Yeah, and as was my alarm clock until I plugged it in.
Mm.
God, Jesus. 20 minutes in. Mind boggled. I did have something happen to me this week, which was there's a little thing called 16 personalities. Have you ever discovered this? I think I've probably shielded you it time and time again.
Maybe, I don't know.
If you would like to psychoanalyze yourself and learn about your personality, there is a website called 16 Personalities that has...
yeah, I think you've sent it to me before.
Believes there is 16 personalities and it can put you in one of them. So the interesting thing is someone in my family shared this, and I did it around 4 to 5 years ago. And I did it again recently, and I had changed. And the weirdest thing is I had changed into something that I didn't expect to be, which is something I always pit myself against, which is kind of what I consider you to be. So I wanted to.
You get? Do you have the list of? Because I remember, I think you sent it to me 4 or 5 years ago. I did it at the same time.
I think you got what I got. So.
I was the guy with I think the picture of him, he had like a beard, and he looked like a. I don't know.
Was it? What? Do you remember the color? I think yours was purple.
I don't remember the color. No, I have a feeling that the word began with like an A or something.
I'm going to send you them. Yeah, I think you might have been. So the architect has an advocate. An advocate.
Yeah, advocate. That's the one I was.
This is very, very interesting. So this is just it was a really, really strange
What
journey.
was you before?
So do you know what? I'm going to have to go into my old emails and see what I was.
This is 16personalities.com/personality-types.
Because I think before I was either a protagonist or an architect. No, it can't have been an architect because he's got a plan for everything. I haven't got a plan for nothing.
I'm sure if I did it now, I wouldn't get the same.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that there has been a change in myself over the last 5 years. I used to always consider myself as very creative, flary, sociable, like out there. You know, if I went to a party these days, I probably would just try and talk to someone I knew. I wouldn't be out there doing what I used to be as a kid. Do you know what I mean? And I guess everyone changes as they grow up, but I think I have actually drastically changed as a person over the last 5 years. And to start with, when I got what I got this time, I was like, well, I think this is bullshit because I used to be something different. But then I started questioning, maybe I am kind of changing a bit. So this time I got a logician, okay? Which is it's like the word kind of says, like a logic-driven, introverted, intuitive thinking, perspective sort of person. I sort of live inside my mind. but I'm still kind of quite messy in my ways. It kind of got me quite well. But the weird thing about it was I'd always portrayed you as like, I always used to say you were the calculator and I was the paintbrush. Kind of how I explained when we made music,
Yeah.
when we talked about things, even when we're doing blobs now.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've always thought of it as a negative that I was the paintbrush.
No.
Yeah, but I've always felt like that. I've always felt like
Okay.
it's a weird position to be in because you're almost subservient because you have these ideas or thoughts and you're too scatty and messy to do anything with them. And then I've been friends with someone like you who can productively take an idea and innovate on top of it and deliver it, and it's an interesting relationship, and I almost wonder what it's like to be on the other side of it. I know you don't overthink things, so maybe it's not like anything on the other side. It's just like, yeah. And I always sit there and overthink things. Like logicians love to analyze things. Like it's literally staring me in the face right now.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is if I've changed since you've known me, which everyone does. So I guess that's a yes. But also,
I think in the core you haven't.
yeah, that's fair. But maybe I am more logic driven than I give myself credit for, and maybe I'm like I'm less of a chaotic mess than I think. And that's always like when I message someone at work, I message them from a subservient stance of like, I feel like I'm not as knowledgeable as them, but I think I fucking am. I think everyone's clueless, and I just don't realize other people feel that way. And in fact, even though I feel that way, I get a lot of good ideas going out of this little head of mine. Like, I don't know. It was a bit of self-appreciation in the moment, which I don't normally have. There you go.
Yeah, I'm just going through this now, just to see. I know we don't really have. It's not really the time or place for me to do this, but
No, that's fine. We've got all the time in the world. Dude, these chaps are listening to like 1 hour, 2 hour episodes, 15 minutes or 5 seconds of silence. It's a walk in the park for them. They're probably like, oh, thank God.
It's at 40%, so like I might just keep it on pause, just put it on pause for a little bit. Maybe doing it during a break whilst I'm getting another drink.
No.
I think definitely maybe 4 or 5 years ago, if I think back to how you were then, you definitely had more elements of chaos in your life, and less control over that chaos. I feel like now there is elements of chaos in your life, but there are more of those elements of chaos that you have a tighter control of. And I don't know what I would put that down to. I think part of it might be Miyako actually, and I think another part of it might be interacting with the industry that you're in now.
I was literally thinking that as you're talking to me. It's like working in product.
Yeah.
I've always felt like I'm an odd one out and that I shouldn't be in this area. But in fact, it's refined me into this thing that I'm looking at. Like when I first got given this thing, I didn't believe it for a second. I'm looking at it now, right? Like all of these are the words that it says are my strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so my strengths: analytical, original, open-minded, curious, objective. Okay. Weaknesses: disconnected, insensitive, dissatisfied, impatient, perfectionist. Fucking
Yeah, spot on.
like these guys, what a product.
Yeah, right.
It's got romantic relationships in the next section.
Oh, jeez.
Here we go. No, I won't go into the whole thing. I don't think everyone needs to know everything about me. But yeah, I'm gonna skim over this again later and really, relationships are a genuine connection. Logicians take their relationships. This is hot. This is hot stuff. Almost looking in the mirror. Sorry. But it's just really interesting because I've never admired. I don't know. Not that everyone needs to listen to me come to this epiphany of like, Tim, you're not a dickhead, but I might not be as much of a dickhead as I thought.
You're not a dickhead, mate. You've never been a dickhead.
Oh, mate, in my head I am like, you know.
No.
Dick, 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 dick. It's chipping away, wake up in the morning. Dick, 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 dick. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested to see what you get. If you could run that again, we could talk about what you are next time. Because I love psychoanalyzing these things. And I'd love to see what it thought of you. Because you are an interesting one. I don't meet many Woodies. I think I can segue to talk about something related to Woody by asking this question of, is altruism real or a myth?
Let me just do a quick define on unselfish concern for the welfare of others.
So, like, when you help people, yeah, like, I don't really see what you get out of it a lot. And I think it takes. I think if I was to psychoanalyze you, I think being in the position of helping people after a while takes its toll on you.
No, so
but somehow
it's
you
a bit,
still end up doing it.
No, so it's a bit more. It's a bit more sociopathic than that.
Right. What? So there's a dark side to it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Go on. Here we go. This is it. The meat and bones of the podcast.
I don't know. I mean,
Woody's opening the closet, boys and girls.
Well, I don't want to reveal the secret because then I feel like a dick for doing it. But
no. Oh, now next time you help me, I'm going to be like, fucking hell, he's just exercising that muscle.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Go on then.
Go home and have a wank over that one.
Oh, fucking, he needs my help. What a peasant. He is subservient.
No, it's not that. It's so I guess it depends on the type of help.
Buying pianos, helping me out with small little giblets. I don't know. Just in general, I think the people around you, I think anyone that knows you has probably at some point either just walked past you and questioned something, and you've tried to help them come to an understanding of it, even if, like, I don't know, I'm moving house in a few months' time, and I can imagine you're there pulling the sofa.
So I guess I'll try and answer it from the lightest mood down to the darkest mood of the reason why I do some of these things. Why I think I help. Do you
notice that trait in yourself then?
I only notice it when people point it out to me.
Okay.
And that you've pointed it out to me now has made me sort of think about these things. So I guess one part of me enjoys it because I prefer to engage in not necessarily, I don't know what you'd call it, engage in these things because they are more fun than going to a club or something. I don't know. I didn't form that very well in my head.
No, I get that. Another way of thinking of this might be perhaps sometimes you find relationships or conversation or other things maybe hard, or when you were growing up you did, but helping someone is easy.
Maybe.
And it takes that reliance away.
Maybe.
There's no empty space to fill.
Maybe.
I am helping you.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's what's going on. Anyway, you talk about yourself before I tell you it.
Yeah. So, like, let's say, like, when you do move to your new house, let me create a situation so I can think about it, think it through properly.
It's a 2-hour drive, by the way. I'm just warning you right now.
Well, number one, it's a 2-hour drive, and that in itself sounds nice to me. That sounds like
it is, mate. When you see the roads near us,
yeah. Not only like there's a nice long stretch of like motorway. I can get a bit riled up in the car when some people piss me off. I like that. And then when you get out onto the countryside, you don't know where you are. You've never been here before. It's all kind of new. Am I taking the right exit? All these little things, and then you arrive at the destination like, oh wow, I fucking made it. Like that was
one
a
sec,
really
one
nice.
sec,
Yeah,
one
go on.
sec. Let me just tick the box. Removal costs. Scratch that out. Okay. Yep. Sorry. Carry on. You've got a trailer, haven't you? Sorry. Carry on. He doesn't have a trailer.
And then, the other part of that drive is how I question to myself. I like to challenge myself. So the next time I come, well, I got to get back home first. But the next time I come, I'll give myself a bit of a challenge. Like, do I remember it? Because I'm pretty good at remembering routes on the first go. And that's a nice little challenge for myself. So that's something nice. And then eventually, when I get there, there'll be something that you need help with. Maybe you want to like plan out how you want to do the garden, what you want to put in the garden. Maybe you want to think about, what can my setup be in my garage?
I'd love to think about that with you there.
Right.
I've been given the garden and the garage. Everything else is hers in terms of decisions. So yeah, that would be good. Continue.
And those sessions of thinking are interesting to me. That's what I was getting at by I'm not interested in going to a club. I mean, I obviously enjoy going to a club, like and having a good time, but I can't do that every week. Like,
Yeah.
But I can explore.
I see what you're saying. It's almost like there's another side to it, which is you're in your shed right now. Takes a lot to get you out of your shed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But if someone in your world can propose a reason that has enough, I guess, solitude, time, and challenge and risk, like, you know, if I'm going to say, do you want to come to the gym for 5 hours? You're going to be like, fuck that.
Yeah.
But if it's kind of like, you know, what else am I doing?
Exactly.
Continue.
Yeah. So that's like the reason why that's one of the reasons that I do sort of altruistic things for people. There's another part of me that's a bit darker.
Here we go.
Which is, I get a kick out of not teaching, but
yeah, you were trying to say this before, yeah.
Get a kick out of like knowing that I'm like proving to myself that I know more than this person and I am capable of teaching that person.
Do you know what's funny is that there's so many times, like, I'll say it right now, I'm thinking about you trying to explain something to me, and now I'm looking back, knowing that you're enjoying it, yeah? And I'm just remembering myself on the other side, just thinking, like...
What a dick.
Not fucking listening. Yeah, I don't care how it works, let's just do it. Is you're like, yeah, well, the thing is the transistor, actually. I'm like... Can we make music now? When's it gonna stop? But now I know you're enjoying it. That's even better. Sorry, yeah. I do learn a lot though. That's only 20%. I do learn a lot. I think I learn. It's like a sponge. Like, you know, there's water that you can squeeze in and out of me. But if there was ink in the water, some of it would stick. I feel the ink has stuck.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of...
That makes sense.
That's kind of the reason. And I guess I've always been like this, where I'm not very good at just talking to people about nothing. Like, I don't engage in conversation that isn't about something.
Do you know I was thinking... one thing I was thinking just then is I can't wait till you do this test and we can look at what that means for your romantic relationships. That's going to be dynamite. But the other thing is I was really interested. Well, not interested, but I think it's quite... You say you're hard at talking to people and all these things. I think it's quite cool that I managed to be your friend, because I think in terms of the race to be your friend, I don't mean it's an offence. I don't think like there's many people that you let into that like competition. I'm still here, mate. I'm still standing. Like
Yeah.
I must like there's some gold dust over here, clearly.
I'm not sure.
Or maybe I know what it is. You've looked at thousands of people in your life, and then you've come across me, and you're like, okay, that one really needs my help. I can scratch my itch all day long on this one. Honestly, he's like a scratch card every day.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's more of.
We do bounce well though. Even this pod to start with, I thought about the podcast like they'd be interesting. It might be hard. Even now, like as I'm taking this now, sorry listeners to take a little moment to celebrate our own conversation. We bounce well. I listen to podcasts and I don't find bouncing that's like this. This is like a table tennis conversation that never just fucking like it's like a rally that never stops.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, I think it might be down to like we've got years behind us,
but also we got that opposite like these two.
Yeah, the opposite minds.
They're quite opposite, these personalities.
Yeah,
but then similar interests. Actually, no, overlapping interests. I enforce my interests upon you, and you have interests that you can somehow mold into them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. I guess what I'm trying to say is if I give you the reason why we're still here, I guess you've just always been there.
Yeah, I've never left, have I?
Yeah, you've never really gone away.
every day just text you.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm looking at this. What do you think about this? Oh, no reply. Oh, okay, all right, fine. Maybe tomorrow. You're right.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at this, which is great, you know. I think that's great.
It is
and
great.
Honestly, if I had a mate like that, fuck me, like, whoa. Dear me, you message me once every 3 months, I might be thinking, God, this is a bit much, this. But then no one else gets that treatment, you know. So I don't text anyone, like unless they really, really unless you know it's urgent. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. So Miyako, my daughter, calls bras booby styles. So
where did she get that from?
All of our female listeners, she just picks up Claudia's bras sometimes and says, "Mummy, you like my booby style?" So if you, all you girls out there, next time, because there's an abundance of females listening to the podcast. I've looked at the stats. Next time you pick up your bra, have a little look in the mirror, try it on, and think, "Fuck yeah, look at that booby style." And it does make sense. It's a stylification of the booby. What else is it for? So Miyako's onto something there.
Yeah.
I'll just chuck that seed in to nicely round off the personality discovery trip. We will dip into that from time to time, but I think it'd be nice to, you know, we know our personalities in and out. It'd be nice for some of our listeners to go on the journey of discovering them. I definitely think we need to get you doing that test as well.
I'm doing it now. I'm on 92%. I think this might be the last page. So if you can bear with us for a couple of minutes.
Okay. Whilst you're doing it, could you just... I'll try it first. I just want to make a sound effect and see if you can do it back. You've got to guess what I'm doing.
Okay.
And see if you can do it back. And we could have a whole section of the podcast dedicated to this.
Do you know what it sounds like?
Well, just try and do it back if you know what it is. If you can't do it back, then you don't know what it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Then I can't. Then I can't.
It's
do
on the
it
tip
back.
of your tongue. It's like...
The word is on the tip of my tongue.
Well, it's close to your tongue. So it's
Oh.
earlier when we were talking... Are you beard scratching?
Yeah.
Brilliant. earlier when we were talking, like I just heard this little, and I wrote down in my notes, add a bit of beard scratching in. So we've done it there. Can we just do mine versus yours again, so the audience can decide which? Because you've got a proper beard, and I've only got I just have a little bit of stuff going
I
on.
wouldn't say it's a proper beard. It's not a full on beard.
You're a beard. Like I see you. I see beard man. So this is Tim. Don't interrupt my beard scratching.
Sorry.
This is Tim. Over to you. Just when it started, that was great. Sorry, I interrupted, didn't I? But yeah, there you go, listeners. You can decide upon which beard scratching you like the most. And you know, if you would like to drop a comment letting us know, we'd love it, because at the moment the comments that we get are either the occasional brilliant comment or just some sort of spam robot that comments on every YouTube video saying Vox.36 or something random. It's a really weird comment. So if you could choose a preferred beard scratching sound, that would be great, because at the end of the day, there might be movie people listening to this, and there might be a scene where they're scratching their beard, and that sound could actually be used. So you could help towards us featuring in perhaps the next Game of Thrones series that comes out.
And with that, we'll take a quick short break for a toilet run and a refresh
Jesus
of drinks.
Christ. You didn't come prepared, did you? You said a toilet run. You can't sit there doing stuff.
No, I'm just typing in the break, so I know how long it's been. So I know when I get back, I can.
What, you mean that when you're editing, you're not going to listen to every minute of it?
No, it's not that. I can see when I've taken a break. It's just I need to know when I've taken the break and when I come back from a break, so that I know when an hour has lapsed from part 2 happens. Whatever.
It's all right.
One sec.
It's all right. So for those of you interested, my work gives us a £20 a month voucher, or they just send us money, 20 quid every month for our stand-up meeting that we have, to let everyone know what we're doing. And this is for us to normally have a pizza or something like that, which is great. It really kind of like breaks up the month. You're like, oh shit, it's free takeaway time, great. And I guess you could just keep the money and run, but I live in the spirit and I get a takeaway. Only this week, we realised that Uber Eats has a sort of half-price voucher of some kind. So I've just had 40 quid's worth of Indian food delivered, and it was free. And it not only was it 40 quid's worth of Indian food, but it was the set menu, which means that you're getting like 60 quid's worth of Indian food. So I've had it all. I've had everything. But the problem was, I didn't get a hot curry as part of the Indian food on the set menu. So I almost feel like I've eaten loads of food, but I haven't had Indian. I don't know what I've eaten. I've had poppadoms. I've had naan bread. I've had tikka masala. I've had chicken tikka. I've had lamb boona. I've had vegetable curry. I've had sagaloo. I've had Bombay potato. I've had chutneys, mint sauces, lime pickles, onion salad, pilau rice, special fried rice. I've had an onion bhaji, a chapati, and somehow I feel like I haven't eaten an Indian. And that's quite a position to be in after 40 quid's or 60 quid's worth of Indian food has been delivered. So, I mean, I didn't eat it all. Family of 3 at the moment. We didn't finish it. I've put some of it in the fridge, so in the next few days I can have it. But I'm kind of questioning if I want to have it, just because normally I'll get a chicken jalfrezi, which I find is kind of the perfect level of spice, whereby you can dip the poppadom in, get a bit of tang from the sauce, enjoy the jalfrezi itself, mush it in the rice, pour some mint sauce on top, enjoy the onions, avoid the chilies. You don't want to eat the chilies, they're just there for the flavour. I do eat chilies with some meals, but not necessarily in a chicken jalfrezi, because you don't want to be sitting there thinking about the chili. You want to be thinking about the inherent spices that have been involved from the starting point. And yeah, there was no chicken jalfrezi. I thought, I googled lambuna. It said, what is a lambuna? Buna, the cooking process of a buna starts with frying various spices. I was like, okay, frying spices sounds spicy. Then it said, including chili powder. I was like, great, sounds spicy. A buna is commonly known as a hot curry, as fresh green chili is used. Where the fuck was my green chili, is my question. So, I don't know if anyone else has felt like that before. Maybe there are some people who just order a chicken tikka masala as their Indian and they say that they've had an Indian. But for me, I just feel like something was missing. And I thought I'd share that with you now. Get it off my chest. It has been a slight dampener to the day. But one can't complain when it was free. So, yeah, if anyone wants some Indian food that isn't spicy, I live in Brentwood, in Essex, in London, well, outside of London in the UK. Comment on the podcast, stop by the house, and I'll be happy to offload some non-spicy Indian food. Thank you. That was the Tim Show for a wee bit, and I will also take my break. I bet I can still beat Woody back.